Herbs are some of the easiest and most rewarding plants to grow. Whether in the ground, raised beds, containers, or even in the greenhouse, they thrive with minimal care. Plus, frequent harvesting actually makes them grow better. Pruning during the growing season encourages the plant to produce more leaves instead of flowering and going to seed. Once herbs flower, their energy shifts and the flavor can change, sometimes becoming bitter or losing potency. By trimming regularly, I get a longer harvest and stronger flavors. Fresh herbs are packed with flavor, but they're also incredibly nutrient dense. They contain antioxidants, essential oils, and minerals that add depth to food while supporting good health. Drying is a great way to preserve the flavor. I use my 8-partition hanging rack, adjusting where I dry them depending on the temperature and humidity. Herbs can dry outdoors when the humidity's low, but sometimes it's better to dry them inside where I can control the conditions a little bit better. Once they're fully dried, I remove the leaves from the stems and crumble them for easy use. However, the tea leaves, black raspberry, and mint, I leave whole for better steeping. I just consider this a garden herb blend, which can vary from year to year depending on which herbs I have growing in the garden. This year I'm using a blend of parsley, chives, oregano, thyme, basil, and sage. I'll include the recipe in the description below. It's very versatile, and one of my favorite ways to use it is in my sun-dried tomatoes preserved in olive oil. The herbs infuse into the oil, enhancing the rich, sweet, tart tomatoes. These are amazing on salads, roasted vegetables, or spread onto bread. In the autumn, before winter sets in, I like to gather the last of my herbs. This time I decided to create a seasoning inspired by my favorite all-purpose blend, Herbamare. This blend includes celery leaves, chives, parsley, basil, rosemary, thyme, and oregano. I air-dried most of the herbs just like before in the drying rack, but I also used a dehydrator set on low temperature for the celery leaves, basil, and green onions, as well as the onions and garlic. Unlike the original Herbamare, I left out the salt so I can control it when cooking. This blend is heavy on celery flavor, earthy, complex, and full of depth. It's my go-to for adding that slow-cooked taste of food, even when I'm short on time. I pulverized each of these into a fine powder before combining, trying to emulate the original seasoning. The recipe also indicated seaweed, and so I used kelp and ground that into a powder for that umami factor. This seasoning pairs well with almost anything savory, but my favorite use lately has been in lasagna soup. It adds an extra layer of flavor both to the broth and the ricotta topping. And with both my preserved heirloom tomato and roasted tomato sauces, this soup captures the essence of summer, even in the coldest months. Preserving herbs this way means I can carry the best flavors of summer into every season. Whether seasoning soups, tossed with roasted vegetables, or making a simple cup of tea, these homegrown flavors always remind me of warmer days. And just like that, the cycle begins again. My herb seedlings are already growing in the greenhouse, getting ready for another season of fresh flavors. I can't wait.